All right, we're joined now by Sherry Few, president of U.S. Parents Involved in Education, to discuss a brand new documentary just released entitled Truth and Lies in American Education. Welcome, Sherry.
Thank you, Duke. I appreciate you having me on.
I'm very honored to disclose that I was part of the movie. I am in the movie. I want to thank you for that. I think I have not finished watching it, but I think this is a stunning piece on what's going on in American public schools today.
Public school is the instituted agency of socialism throughout every community.
The U.S. government has no authority to have any role in education.
We're going to lose our very republic if we don't stop this indoctrination of children in government schools.
What happened to us in China can't happen here.
Have one kind of education and then call it equity.
It's about outcomes. It's about trying to force us all to be equal.
I think we're going to have a race civil war in our hands.
We are exposing kids to pornography as early as kindergarten. Parents just don't know.
No, not anymore. Not anymore. Parents need to wake up. They don't have the interests of your child at heart.
And of course, we discussed everything from the sexualization of children to critical race theory, the anti-American propaganda, and the unfactual history that's being taught in government schools in America.
Let our listeners know, what was the idea behind creating this movie?
Well, you know, one of the topics I didn't mention that we discuss is the exposing the workforce development model of education, which a lot of people are uninformed about. And we really we set out to try to do a film to explain that. And we do cover that. And Donna Hearn is the expert on that. We interviewed her, and it's really telling. But as time went on, we realized there were so many issues that we needed to cover. And it's gotten so worse in just the last 2 years. When we first started the film, we didn't realize we would end up where we were, but we think it was God's perfect timing. The release is perfect. Because of all the issues like the sexualization of children, sex education's been an issue, a problem in government schools for a long time. But now the transgender ideology and the things being taught to children behind their parents' backs, it's just appalling. And people need to know. They need to understand what is happening in government schools, not just parents, but taxpayers. They're funding this nonsense, and the Marxist roots of critical race theory and the negative anti-American propaganda is turning children away from their country. And so even if you don't have kids in public school, you need to be paying attention, because our very freedom is at stake.
Yeah, that is no understatement. You could do a sequel already just on the Biden years. It is a very frightening time, and what I love about the movie is it's relatable. You have I think you did a fantastic job of picking guests who could take complicated issues and break them down for the average layperson. And I think that's exactly what we need more of. Tell me, what kind of reception is the movie getting now?
Well, people are loving it. And what I'm hearing, the feedback has been excellent. And again, I think the timing is perfect because, you've seen the parent outrage all across the country. And, people are upset about what's being taught. That was what COVID, probably the silver lining of COVID, was parents were actually able to see what their children were learning, and what they saw they were not pleased with. So parents are very excited to have this even as a tool to educate other people in their community, and parents are running for school board and taking back the education of their children.
Give us one of the major lies and one of the major truths that this movie is going to teach parents.
Well, the major truth is that children are being indoctrinated in government schools in every way, in every, the critical race theory, the social emotional learning, it's being embedded in every subject at every grade level. So that's the truth that they need to understand. The lies primarily come in the form of the history that's being taught. We have 2 book authors that we interview that have exposed Howard Zinn's textbook that's been in the schools for decades, and the lies that are in this book. And so the lies are as important as the truths.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think you hit on the one big lie. Of all the other lies, the one lie that binds them, if we go a little Tolkien on you, the one lie that binds them all and in the darkness brings them together, it's the lie of history. It is amazing how dishonest everything from Howard Zinn in the 70s right up to the 1619 program right now It is bald-faced lies about the nature of America, about the racial attitudes of Americans, about the law, about every aspect of our culture is being radically skewed by the left. And this is dangerous because we've already have a couple of generation of kids who went through the system with the lie. They hate their country. They don't believe in their country. They are all for pro-socialism, but they can't define socialism.
Yes, you're right. And, my daughter-in-law is the protagonist in the film. And we love that about the film, that it's got a storyline. She's learning about education so she can decide what type of education she will do with her children, my grandchildren. So she's told me, several years ago when she started working for our organization, that kids in her age group, friends, people she used to hang out with in high school, actually have communist flags hanging in their living room. They think communism is cool. So the millennial generation has already been fully brainwashed against our country and pro-communism.
Yeah, that galls the heck out of me. Sitting in their American living rooms with their American TVs and technology, with their American cell phones and all the bounty in the refrigerators of American produce, waxing nostalgia for gulags and gas camps, and it's a disaster. And so how do people find this movie? How can they watch it? How can they donate? How can they participate?
Well, if they'll go to the website's, the film's website, it's truthandliesfilm.us. They can view the film there. They can donate. We're still raising money for the marketing aspect of the film. Our producer says you can never have enough money for marketing. So we're still doing all we can to make sure that every household is able to view this film. And I want to thank you for participating in so many ways. Freedom Project Academy even donated a large sum to the film, to the production, and we're very grateful for all that you do. And again, thanks for having me on.
We're all in this together. Godspeed. Thank you.